Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in, and we have a review of the week from Jay Barshop, and Jay says, Chris and his guests provide some incredibly actionable and compelling content, spotlighting the best tactics and insights on how to become the very best version of yourself and live a more productive, well-rounded life. Highly recommend listening and subscribing to Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self if you want the knowledge and mindsets to grow into the person you know you're capable of becoming and reach your overall goals as a result. So Jay, thank you so much for sharing that. We appreciate you. And if you haven't reviewed the iTunes show yet, please do that for us, www.beyourgps.com/iTunes. Thank you in advance for doing that. Next, Paula Brown, the woman of the hour. She's gonna rock it. Paula Brown of Chi-Lightful is a Heartist. She gets leaders unstuck, an intuitive, quick sketch artist and purpose coach. Leaders hire Paula to literally and figuratively draw out the true north heartbeat of their purpose. Her purpose was born when her own heart stopped beating. She sketch quests the heart of communications, goals, and big ideas. Former brand creative director for international clients, she marries both intuition and strategic process for influencers to discover and clearly show their story. Paula guides clients into seen, freed from the frustration of knowing their vision and not being able to communicate it. Purpose questing goes beyond mere pictures to find the invisible energies that bring us together. Her purpose coaching creates opportunities of discovery and safe change with her unique process that includes both strategic mind and alternative heart and emotional methods. Paula brings many years of sharing her experience of alternative energetic tools to help her clients break free of old patterns, limiting ideas and emotions. She uses the ancient intuitive healing philosophy of Huna, official Hawaiian shaman and teacher, the ancient harmonic tools of Feng Shui, black hat, and heart communications with animals and nature. Paula's best-selling book, Feng Shui, An Introduction to Animal Feng Shui, trademarked US, Canada, UK, translated to Italian, shines her intuitive tools and blue sky questing within and beyond the visible world. Paula, are you ready to rock this?
Yes, I am.
Yes, she is. Awesome. You are now live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to be here with us today, to add massive value to our audience and have a whole lot of fun. We appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate being here, Chris. And I think I took up my hour with the introduction. So have I thoroughly confused everybody by now?
It was a lot of fun. I love reading.
I'll give you more.
That's right. That's right. So we're going to dive right into the theme of the day, which you helped me create. And the theme is the art of being. So Paula, what does that mean to you, this art of being? What does that mean?
Your story is your art, really. I mean, the heart of your story really is your being. It's your purpose. And what do we call ourselves? We call ourselves human beings. We aren't human doings. We're human beings. And what I do is just say, hey, nature knows what it be. Mm-hmm. And when it bees, it belongs. It's connected to everything. And when we actually be and belong in our own self and be from our true self, we have a sense of incredible belonging and joy. And the being part of it is really the mastery of your story. I mean, what are you telling yourself every morning? What are you telling everybody that you work with? What are you telling your friends? You're either telling somebody else's story or your own. And so what can you be? What are you? And not what you're being told to be, but who are you? So it is really an art, and it's worth mastering. It really is worth mastering. And to be, you have to be in the moment, in the present moment. So everything springs from that present moment and being connected to everything around you, including yourself. There's so many people that aren't connected to themselves. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's like what created the chaos of this world is so many people are not in their bodies, not feeling, not present to the emotions, the sensations, and so they've tolerated the fear, the overwhelm, the anxiety, the stress, all of that because they're not present and they don't want to deal with it, and so they keep numbing, they keep stuffing it down, and so you're acknowledging that that's been happening, and your recommendation is to be present so that we can feel the sensation, so that we can experience the connectedness to everything all around us.
Yes, definitely. And by being in that space, by being the real you, and knowing exactly what that is quite the gift. And it's how the great leaders lead. You can't really lead very effectively if you're not in your own being. And that's an art, and it's an art of leadership. How can you lead when you don't know who you are? And how can you communicate when you don't know what you're putting out there? A lot of it's the world of blah, 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 blah. We, HubSpot, did an interesting set of research series, and for every, I think, 125 to 250 words per minute that we go blah, 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 the person that's supposedly listening is blah, blah, blahing inside 1,000 to 3,000 whiffums. What's in it for me?
Wow.
Per your 125 to 250 speaks. Wow. So the art of being is really the art of listening to yourself and to other people. Wow. And without the whiffums.
The whiffums. I love that. I've never heard that. I know WIFM is like the radio station, but whiffum, it's the same thing, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's what's in it for me.
Yes.
So when I'm listening to you, I'm going, well, how can I answer that question that will be acceptable, non-judged, non-criticized, and make me look really good?
Yeah.
You know?
I love it.
Just drop the script. You're leading a scripted life for most of your 20s because you are doing. That's when you're having a family. That's when you're going places. That's when you're amassing your material wealth. By the time you're 30, 35, 40, all of a sudden you become kind of uncomfortable. Kind of like, is there more to life than just racing around? Is there more to life than just accumulating? And that's when you can really accomplish who you are and who you be. And it's almost going back to kindergarten.
Yeah.
Because when you're in kindergarten, you knew exactly who you were. Exactly. And you were born whole. You were born with everything to connect you with everything around you. You were born to communicate your what. And then all of a sudden you lost it because everybody was telling you what you need to do, what you should do, and what was acceptable. And your experiences were also being tested and the things that happened to you. So your ego starts to tell you, ooh, let's stay away from that. That's a big fear one. I'm running from that. I just want the cake at the end of the table, Yeah. It's like, I want to be protected. So by the time you're mid-30s to 40s, you really become into your own in terms of wanting to find something, wanting to find a purpose, and wanting to find that. And a lot of people just get really dissatisfied with life, their business, and if they keep on doing, and not doing the thing that they're supposed to, they came into the world to really share and bring light into their own life and other people's lives. They just get miserable and grumpy and negative, and that's where the abuse comes for yourself and other people. And there's this passion to find your you,
Yeah, you mentioned the what, like this what thing, like what we were meant to do. Is that what that means? And is there a what we're meant to do that lasts our entire lives?
Yes. I hail from a looking to see in brand essences the heart of things. I see the heart of things. It's my natural intuition. And I became a soul purpose coach with Tim Kelly ages ago while I was doing this. And there's a breakdown of your what. There's your purpose statement, which you can discover. There's your essence, and there's your gift, and you may have a mission. And when you say your what, that's really your essence. Your essence is what you came in to do, and to do with wonderful magnificence and wonderful communication and wonderful flow. You came in to share that. It's like the oak tree, the acorn does not grow into a willow tree. It grows into oak tree. And that what never changes. That essence never changes. The way you decide to deliver it can change and evolve all the time. That's part of your gift and your purpose. So your avocation can change. The way you do it can change. And you can do it in multiple ways in even just one period. Your essence is like your fire to ignite. Yeah. My essence is fire in the heart. So I fire up other people's, I ignite people's hearts. I help them find their light. And I can do this in many, many different ways. And I've got many tools to do that. That's what connects me with people. That's what connects me with my tribe. And that's what connects other people with their tribe. It's very simple when you think about it.
Wow. Yeah.
It's very simple.
So you are doing all kinds of amazing stuff. You have this vast array of tools and experience. Why don't you share a little bit more about, that journey, how you got to where we are today, so our audience can connect with you and understand a little bit more of the array of resources that you have available to you at any given point because of your experience and your wisdom and your accomplishments. We were talking earlier this week, and I was like, wow, that's incredible. You've done amazing things.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed my life. I've had a lot of challenges, and I think these challenges have resulted in me looking at things. My strength is to going inside and look from the inside out. So I look at things a little bit differently. And when I was little, I knew I could talk with nature and talk with animals. It's something that my Irish grandmother had the ability to do, and I had it too. I was always told to hide it. So then I went deeper into things, and I've always had an art gift, a gift of visually expressing. So I became through my college years and whatnot, I became a graphic designer and then a creative director for large ad agencies. And I was blessed to have the capability of sort of reading people's minds and finding out the essences of things. So I was hired and searched out to be a new business pitch person. Because I could find that emotional hook very fast and very accurately that would put their brand, their service, or their product into that emotional realm that people would just be naturally attracted to. And so I was well known for doing that. And in the midst of doing that, I had a health emergency and my heart stopped. And I went code blue and shot off the operating table without my body, so to speak, went down that long tube. And my father, who had passed away ages ago, stepped out in front of me and said, "Stop, you must go back." And I said, "No, I'm staying here. This is too lovely. No, you must go back. You must find purpose, help find purpose." And wham, I was back in my body. Wow. That was my first indication of what I was supposed to be doing. I mean, literally, I was stopped. Wow. And my purpose is to put the heartbeat back into people's businesses and lives. And in order to even see that, it was right in front of me for many, many years. In order even to see that, my heart had to stop. So isn't it funny how your life just spins? And I spent 10 years then studying all these invisible connections because my connection to nature was very much heightened after that and to people. And so I explored black hat feng shui. I became a master. I explored a lot of things that had to do with nature, flower essences to heal the emotional body. I explored purpose coaching, soul coaching. I became a soul coach. And meanwhile, I was still doing branding. Wow. And then I was doing a lot of experimenting with the communications with nature. And finally, my client base just dried up and I had to do something else. And my expertise in branding was actually sketching and doodling. I used to doodle and sketch in college, and people would buy my doodles instead of the Cliff books, the abridged versions of the classes, because I would sketch out the key phrases, and people would be able to pass tests from these key phrases. Wow. So I was a TV art director that made the commercial before the words came. And then the writer would come right to it because I would have the essence of the commercial. And I love doing these black and white sketches. So I became a graphic facilitator and quick sketch artist, along with my purpose capabilities to coach people from being very stuck to freeing them up and freeing up big ideas so people could actually find their tribes and do these things. So it's kind of a convoluted journey, but all the invisibles that I learned, and I also am a natural, the way of life for Hawaiians is very ancient and old. It's called Huna. And I just seem to have that philosophy already in me. And I became a teacher of Huna, and I'm an alakai, so I'm a teacher of the ancient energies and philosophies and healing techniques of Hawaii.
Wow.
So I have one leg over in Hawaii and one leg on the mainland.
Yes. Yes.
So it's all these invisible tools, and it made sense because what I'm doing and what other people are doing along with me is, you know, your ego and your head tell you the strategy, and your gut is actually the vessel and the holding of where your essence is.
Oh.
And in order for have them to talk and communicate and share your purposeful ideas and live from an authentic basis, you need a bridge between here and here. And the visuals became a bridge. So I became the translator for the soul so the mind could see it and feel safe.
Wow.
It just made sense. And that's what these wonderful TV commercials do, that you remember, but you can't remember the product, but you remember. And that's the essence of something.
Yeah.
So it's just me being able to show that we are all connected by the visibles of our beings. It's alive. It's got a heartbeat. It has resonance with everybody else. The thoughts you think, the words you put out have incredible meaning, and they have incredible effect because they travel along these invisible pathways to everybody and everything around you. It's just it's being proven in science with, you know, the experiments with water and experiments with complementing plant and judging another plant. The judge plant dies.
Yeah.
The complemented plant lives. Yeah. It's in our energy zones to be what we are supposed to be. And that's my passion. And I just happen to draw and paint it out and draw it out literally and figuratively. So I'm the doodle master, I think.
Yeah, and it's not just random worthless doodles, but it's people's souls that you're, like you said, you're connecting the brain and the gut and the soul's translation so that the whole picture can come together.
Yeah, and it's actually the soul of the communication, the essence of a retreat, the essence of education, the essence of an idea, the essence of the birth of an idea. It's there. And when people just use words or they write it down, that's one way. We are hardwired to communicate visually. A visual photograph, illustration, or whatever is processed 60,000 times faster than a word. Wow. We're hardwired.
Is there something that we could do with visually on our own, or our audience can do on their own, to tap into that drive, the vision, the clarity on their what? Is there anything like that you can recommend, or how can our audience start going about tapping into their purpose more?
You can take one of my sketch quests. If you don't have me available, I think it's a matter of tuning into your child. Everyone has this child that is perfect. And I usually try and begin people saying, you know, everybody's an artist. You don't have to be Picasso. You don't have to be, you know, Rembrandt to be an artist. Pick up a pencil, get yourself a journal, and start a stream of thought and let it come out in stick figures. I don't care if it's a circle, a dot. I've had people journal on a rock, just because they're finally feeling it. And I tell people, start out with your kid. And there's a very easy exercise to do. And that is visualize a picture of you when you were a child. And then look at that picture and ask it, what do you want?
Hmm.
And let it answer you. And then and then ask it, what do I want? And you'll find that there's two different answers most of the time.
Hmm.
And then you ask the child what it likes and what it dislikes.
Hmm.
And then you ask the child, do you have a gift for me? And this is you in an earlier picture,
Right.
asking your child. And when it gives you that gift, pay attention. That has a lot to do with your purpose. For example, I was given a wonderful box of 64 color crayons with a sharpener inside of the box. And that's something I always wanted when I was a kid. And my child was telling me, it's okay, just go color.
Wow.
This is what you're meant to do. And then you give your child a gift. And that gift is a big hug and a thank you.
Hmm.
And you look at that and you see where in your life you're really respecting that. Or, if you're paying attention at all.
Hmm.
Sometimes that little child is screaming, and that little child really is your purpose. That's your what.
Wow.
And it wants to be seen. And the best way of having it seen is to literally draw it out. So draw out that experience.
Hmm.
And I don't care what it looks like, but draw it out. Take a hit for the team. Get that pencil out and just draw it out. And don't worry about it. Don't worry about judgment. The child is not about judgment. I mean, every little kid can finger paint, so finger paint it. Do something. Do something visceral with yourself. Get in there. Get into the paint pot and do something.
Wow. Wow. So I'm curious, is there anyone who this wouldn't work for, or, for the people out there who say, that's a waste of time, or I'll figure it out, or what do we say to those people?
You're in your head.
Hmm.
You have to start thinking from your heart and feeling from your head. That's the first thing I would tell somebody. Go and make that statement and think it from your heart and feel it from your head and see what you think. And then all of a sudden, that might be kind of fun. You do the reverse of things. It's like they're still in the ordinary. And in order to draw out the essence of something, literally or figuratively, you need to find the extraordinary in that ordinary. It's like the ketchup in the refrigerator door. It's so close, and you look at it all the time, but you don't see it. It becomes invisible. It's like your story. It's just the most important stories are usually the invisible stories, and that's what makes you so frustrated. And it's frustration is a stuffed anger, so you get really mad, and then finally you find somebody that can pry the can opener long enough, open the can long enough so your heart can speak and your mind can be quiet. And that's the tough part for most people. They've got a brilliant idea, and they know they're speaking it correctly. They know they're communicating, but no, they're not attracting anybody. And nobody's understanding, or else their new process in their team or their culture is just not working, and they're losing a lot of money. And they don't know why, because, I know what I'm doing. I know what it is. But nobody else does, because they're speaking linguistics in college, and everybody around them has the kindergarten vocabulary. So I would break it down into small words. I would break it down into really precise, focused thoughts, one thing at a time. And don't do the university speak with people. Pretend you're back in kindergarten and you're just playing. I think if you play with an idea, like I like to do with people, then you find the joy and the barriers come down. Because the ego is afraid of being embarrassed. It's afraid of judgment, and it doesn't like pain. So any pattern that you've got that is painful, that's stopping you from finding out who you are or communicating clearly, all of a sudden melts when you've got pictures in front of you, because it's unintimidating. It's not words that can be assumed in many, many different definitions. It's a picture. It's universal language. And I think that's why the internet works so well because we're receiving pictures, and what we're doing now, we're seeing people talk.
Yeah.
And we're hearing people talk. We're hearing the emotions. We're hearing the connections. And it's just really interesting for me how those barriers just flatten once you pick up a piece of paper and start drawing. It can be me, it can be you. Just don't be afraid of drawing. It's really wonderful. And you get people on the same page, and that's your heart page, And all of a sudden, when you draw it out, or you have somebody draw it out after an interview, you see it and you can't believe it. And it was there all the time. It was there all the time. And one example of this, I was doing a sketch quest, which is an hour-long interview with somebody about one thing that they're stuck with, one question that they're stuck. They want to explore that. So I talk to them for an hour, take notes, and scribble a little bit, and ask intuitive questions that lead to the solutions of the results they want. Then I email out the little sketch cartoons to them, PDF. We start talking. And this happens always. And it's never been a time where it hasn't happened, where we get into the document and it shows the challenges, it shows the flow, shows the values, whatever that quest is about. And they'll say, oh, look at these pictures. That's me. And they say, where did you get those words? That's me. You pegged me. I'm going, no, this is what you said.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's aha moments, and they start sharing this, and great results have happened because of their share, because it's a picture. Everybody understands that simple form of picture. They process it. So it's this aha moment that's waiting to happen, that's right in front of you. You just can't see it. It's invisible.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's invisible because we've just trained ourselves to be focused on go, 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 society standards. We stopped playing. We stopped having fun. We stopped being curiously engaged. And when we slow down and pick up a pen or a pencil and start drawing, start sketching, and dive into this thing that we care about and we want to have answers to, we want to explore, we want more clarity, more power, more love, then it gives us the opportunity to kind of like rewire, reset, and allow the juice to come out, so to speak.
Exactly. And what it does, if I've got an issue like you mentioned before about, oh, forget this, this is nonsense, this won't work for me. You get to that point right when you get real close to finding somebody's purpose. Because when they were young, or at some time during their life, they were told that they weren't worthy to do this, or that was wrong, or they needed to be a doctor instead of a architect, or they needed to follow this path. And so they were drilled into something else, and so they were told not to go there. And so they squashed their curiosity, not the curiosity, but the safety of expressing their purpose. Because adults are afraid of being embarrassed, and they're afraid of judgment. And what happens is that when you get real close to it, all of a sudden the barriers come up. Because there's such intense fear from a pattern. So then you have to find out what pattern it was. So you draw that out as little stepping stones. So these drawings become key stepping stones so that people feel safe by taking that final leap in recognizing what they're here for. And then all of a sudden the weight comes off their shoulders, and they can see it, or they can communicate their big ideas without fear, without apologies, and feel accepted. And so that's what stops people. It's really interesting how it happens. And so when I get that, okay, I've gone enough, and I think my purpose is this, and then they come up with a real scripted answer, and you can tell it's scripted, right? And so I send them a PDF of a line drawing, and I say, you got to buy color crayons before our next session. Okay. So I have CEOs at their desk coloring between the lines as I'm talking to them, because when you have the act of actually drawing, it disengages the mind from stopping what's coming up from the heart when you're talking.
Wow.
It opens up your verbal capability of expressing from your heart when you've been blocking it. And all of a sudden they'll start talking about this stuff, and I'm taking notes and I'm drawing it out, and I'll send it to them. I say, is this what you mean? Oh, that's me.
Oh my God.
But the coloring actually opens up that portal, opens up that door for people to communicate. And whether I do it or they do it, it's just accessing the heart of you, and the heart is your story. And that's why I tell people to think in opposite terms. Find the extraordinary in the ordinary, and find, speak from or think from your heart and feel from your mind, because it kind of confuses the mind. And then
totally, I'm like, what? How do you do that? What's that like? What's that experience?
And then all of a sudden, all this good stuff comes out, and they spill in the beans,
Yeah.
And the beans are good. The beans are the magic beans.
Yes, they're great beans.
Yeah, they're great beans.
So you mentioned the heart of your story. What does that mean for you, and how does it relate to entrepreneurs being able to really show up in their true power and create their reality?
A lot of people, including myself for years, are doing things that they're told that they're good at and that they must do in order to have a living. And if you've got a passion to do something a little bit different, or even to do your own thing, and you feel it really very strongly, there's a conformity that happens that tells you not to do it. And the heart of your story, knowing that and having that as a touchstone and drawn out, whether you draw it, I draw it, or somebody else does, or just knowing it, finding your essence, like yours with the heart and the fire, like mine.
Right.
I know when I go off path. I know because I know the essence of me. And when I try to be like my competition or templated, the templates will get us into a lot of issues. I think they work for a certain group, but not for authentic leaders. And the authentic leaders are going to know their purpose, live from their purpose, and communicate from their purpose. And that you need to have a touchstone for, because you're going to get a lot of comments, you're going to get a lot of criticism, and maybe right away you don't have a lot of clients. So you can lose hope and faith. But if you've got that little picture from your child or from your purpose hunting, and you know deep down what your essence is, and the essence of your teachings, your learnings, your retreats, the essence, it's the heart of who you attract. It's the heart of your value. Yeah. It's what you give with intention to someone else in order for them to ignite their heart. That's why all these retreats attract, you attract your tribe, because you're giving out your heart. The heart of your story is you. And so you're going to get people aligned with you to come. And the ones that aren't aligned, oh, I missed my plane. Oh, I don't have the money to do it. Oh, so-and-so, this and that. And there's always a reason why not to enter a room when you're not aligned. Always. Or you leave before the lecture starts. It's a matter of being ready to do it, and a matter of knowing that you will attract your own tribe if you're seen. If you're not seen, you're not going to attract anything. And the power is there, whether you do it through photographs, sketching, your own doodles. I mean, I've seen people present in tech venture capitalist situations. They have to have a comic book, a storyboard, because they don't communicate well. Their ideas are so big. Like I had one client who was in charge of an incubator in Sweden, and they had 4 different languages being spoken. And it was on this high-end GPS tracking system that was like to the moon, right? And they said, oh, you're never going to be able to understand this white sheet. We won't send you the white sheet. But the biggest complaint, we aren't moving forward because the biggest complaint is that we can't communicate.
Hmm.
And they were all on the same page with the tech, but they couldn't communicate. They just couldn't. And so I took the white sheet and I was told, can you do something with this? I said, sure, I understand this. And I can look at real tech stuff and just find the heart of it. It's just boom, right there. It pops out from the page for me. That's my talent. And so I start doing these funny little illustrations to put in a 20-page white sheet. They present it, and all of a sudden their incubator is blossoming and blooming, and they're communicating, and they've got all the research money. Wow. They've got everything going, and they're like a choo-choo train going on their happy little way. And it's because of the illustrations. They started talking about the illustrations and where they were stuck and what was happening. And these were key point illustrations. And finally, they got it. They got it. So that's just one way that the pictures are great at storytelling. They bring people together.
You mentioned having a journal that we can start just sketching in. How do we know what to draw or sketch out? What places do we start? Where do we go? What kind of, because like we could just say, just scribble, draw back and forth, and that's your picture. But we can also put a kind of context or a frame around it to give us a sandbox to play in, so that we can create something that's more effective, that will move us further along. So what are your recommendations about that?
Well, I tell people a lot to visualize a Zen rock garden, and like a sand garden with a rake, where you rake around the stones, and just even shapes or anything like that is fine. The thing that I recommend people do is when they're starting to journal, I'm all about purpose. So what's your intent for the day? What is one word or your intent that you can get down to one word that you're going to practice during that day as a real conscious practice? And take that one word, write it down, and then at the end of the day, draw a little drawing about that one word. And that seats the word and the intent into your whole day, and what happened or didn't happen with that. The stuff that doesn't happen, there's a way of thinking about it, didn't happen, and just get rid of it before you go to sleep. Or if you've had a tough day, and then concentrate on that one word. You bring it back at the end of the day. So it brings you, most of the times these are pretty positive, but then sometimes you find real worth and value in the not so great stuff that's happening in your day.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's where the best tools come from. You don't dwell on it, but I mean, if you've got jealousy or anger or something coming up about a competitor, or you're having frustrations about not enough clients, maybe you write down, my intent today is to explore not enough. And where does that come from? And you can write it and you can draw it. And just by being decorative, putting some curlicues on the words not enough, that's a visual. Yeah. That's drawing. It gets it out of you, and your intent is to find out more, not just stay there.
For example, the not enough. That's such a great example, because a lot of entrepreneurs feel like they're not enough. They don't have enough money. They don't have enough following. They don't have enough. Right? It's total epidemic. So the drawing part of it, at the end of that day, they've explored it and then they draw it. What space does that create? Like what might they notice? What might they see? And I want our audience to see the value and why it's so important to introduce something like this, that they would see, damn, that's awesome. To get that space, to get that clarity, to get that freedom, the peace. I'm definitely going to do this. I'm curious what you see as the access and how does that work?
I think you hit the nail on the head. You get clarity, you get focus, and also a lot of people use these to share. And so then you can bounce these ideas and thoughts that you've got with other people, and it becomes a real share. And when it becomes a share, you feel supported. You get support for yourself and from others. And we live in a society that has a lot of members, so why not share? Yeah. And share with your trusted sources. And then you also find out who are your trusted sources. So it has key touchstone value for you. You use it as a stepping stone for other things that you may find the next day. Oh, there's that I'm not enough again. And you go back to your drawing going, ooh. And then by seeing it, you can touch it in all aspects of your life. And then if you can touch it, you can certainly heal it. Or by healing it, I mean changing the pattern.
Right.
And then because these visuals become symbols. They really become symbols. So you can change a stop sign. If you jot down a stop sign where you find an obstacle, close your eyes and ask for a symbol that it can morph into, that you can take to the next day. And maybe the stop sign turns into a green light, or it turns into a heart, or it turns into an animal that has a message for you. It's treating pictures and words like as symbols. So you use them as symbols to heal and to share and to get you on your own page. Not on somebody else's. Most of the time, a lot of entrepreneurs are doing things because other people are doing them.
Yeah.
Well, what's fitting and what's not fitting? And sometimes you can draw it out a lot. Majority of the times, you really do need to work with other people to find that out, because not everybody's so disciplined to do what you're going to be doing. Right. But there's a lot of people out there that are now. And, you take the whole world. But even with those people, there's subconscious things you don't even know. How do you know what to draw if you don't know that you need to draw it?
Right.
So by working with somebody else and by making these little mind maps or soul maps, they become touchstones for things, and they become great memories. They become, like I sketched out a retreat for our Hawaii transformational retreat, and it was a 4-day retreat, and I was sketching everything from the environment to the lessons to the classes to the thoughts and the words that people were putting out. And afterwards, when the attendees got this, they had all these connections to the classes that ignited again for them. And they were having troubles with their notes, remembering some of the things. And they got the visuals, and there it was. And it just sparked it, it ignited it, and they started sharing it. And more people came into the group, more people benefited. And it was like this social shared touchstone for transformation. And that's what happens and they all took pictures. They all had pictures of the same sunsets and standing by this and standing by that and snorkeling and stuff. But the pictures had some sort of emotional context to them that tweaked a different area of their memory or the different logic area of their brain.
Wow. And
it's funny how an illustration is perceived differently than a photograph.
Yeah.
It's completely different, because the illustrations have emotional context to connect you to the place closer than a photograph does. Or learning or teachings.
Why is that?
I do not know. I just think it's magic. I have to look into it, but all of a sudden, I mean, even the facilitator, and most of my stuff is confidential, so I can't really name names, but the facilitator 2 months later called me up, and she was pretty much crying. And she said, Paula, I was just about ready to give up my practice. And I hired you to do this. And now I know from the response from this that I'm worthy to do this, that I'm talented to do this. And it is my calling because of that summary that you gave. It showed me how much I gave my people and how many tools I gave my people and how it made sense. And now I'm on to this, and that. So you never know how these things are going to turn out. So it's a big learning tool for the person that gave the transformation. She was transformed. She's very confident and believes in herself. And all of a sudden, I found out, oh my gosh, she was thinking these thoughts. What a wonderful, deep experience and deep sharing and healing that she gave to everybody, including me.
Yeah. So did she share that with the entire group or just you?
I don't know. I think it was probably with me, and in her future teachings. Now she's really expressing that emotion, and I'm just touched by it, because it's like, oh, look, there's another heart shining out there. There's another heart burning. There's another heart that knows what it is and knows it. And it's like, whoa, let's celebrate it. So these drawings not only show you what your story is and how you're expressing it, but they also celebrate you. And when they celebrate you, then everybody else celebrates with you and with the whole situation. And the non-aligned people drop off, the aligned people come in, and no worries. It's amazing. It's really amazing. It's my magic.
I love it. What does magic mean to you? What's your definition, or how do you relate to magic?
Magic is the seemingly unseen that is really all around us all the time, that we can touch, that we are capable of true magic, and not just the sleight of hand. The magic happens when a heart is ignited. That's when the magic happens, and you can see the face light up. All of a sudden, they're sharing with everybody, and they've got more confidence. They've got more focus. They've got more clarity. They just have more support, and they support themselves. That's, to me, the magic is that we're all connected, and the magic happens when other hearts are sparked to know that whatever they do is felt by everything around them. It's the magical connection of the invisibles.
Wow, I love it. I'm curious, where did you come up with the name Chi-Lightful? How did you come up with that?
Oh, I wrote the book Feng Shui, an introduction to Animal Feng Shui, and that happened in a very odd way. I did all the illustrations first and then wrote the book. And I actually wrote a very boring book before that, and I tossed it pretty much in the pool in Maui, and I said, I'm going to sleep with this. I got to find and I just started drawing, and Feng Shui happened. I said, it's Feng Shui from an animal's point of view.
Wow.
And so the thing with Chi is that animals are natural Chi masters, and we are too. Wow. And so I studied energy Chi with medical Qigong and Feng Shui and a couple other things. So I said, Chi. And then what do you want to get out of it? You want to be delighted. You want the light to come out from the energy. So at first it came delightful, and then it came, Chi-Lightful. I work with energy. I work with energy of art, of people, and I look very conservative, but that's what I do. I don't tell people how I do it, but it's energy, light, and being fulfilled by it. It's all in one. Some people get it and some people don't.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, is there anything else that we need to know about taking this invisibility cloak off of really owning our story and our purpose? I know we kind of went all over the place. It was a lot of fun. I loved the interview, but just like kind of to touch on that, make sure we got everything that we wanted to get on that. Anything about that?
Yes. I always ask people, what is the cost of hiding your story? What's the cost? The cost is huge. And when you don't express your story and get the reactions you need, and you seem to be invisible, you are. And you're paying the high cost of keep on doing the things that you're doing that aren't seen, and you will be misunderstood. You'll be judged. You will spend a lot of money in processes and templates that aren't you. So there's loss of money, loss of profits, loss of time, loss of respect for yourself and other people around you. It's a big misunderstanding pool. It's a fearful pool to be in. So if you don't show your story and have it seen, have it clearly seen, you're generating a lot of high cost of misunderstandings. And it's frustrating for everybody, including mostly yourself. And so if you rip that off by actually doing some simple picture work about questing, I call everything questing, like sketch questing, purpose questing. It's a journey, and it generates being seen. The value of it is the generation of your story being clearly seen, clearly communicated with everybody, C-suite, members, process, personal. I've had people come and ask about what's my communication style, because they couldn't figure out why they were putting off so many people. And it turned out that they expected people to communicate exactly like they communicated. It's not going to happen. And by seeing it visually, it ripped off that, okay, the ego wants to cover everything up. It wants to hide things because it's uncomfortable with feeling uncomfortable.
Wow.
So it'll do anything to hide this. And once you put a picture down, the ego says, okay, that's just a funny picture. It's not going to hurt me. But what it does, it communicates your story.
Wow.
And wow, all of a sudden you start losing money. And you start communicating, and wow, you're heard, you're seen. So being invisible has a very, very high cost. And by doing these pictures and sketch quests and stories and storyboarding to show other people, keyframe what you're talking about and what you're feeling and how you're changing. It's a great, great way to take the invisibility and the uncomfort off of large shifts and changes. It's like a safety net. So here's your visual safety net for everybody to get on board with and to agree on, because they have to have 1 foot in the past and 1 foot in this future process that they don't understand. And that they go bonkers. A lot of firms lose key people because they're proposing big shifts in their process or in their company or their management. And if it was drawn out, everybody would be, oh, okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Actually, it's kind of fun, So that's what taking off the invisibility from what you're thinking versus what you're doing. Yeah. So being comes into there. It's like, how do you be when you change? Can you have a relatively smooth change?
Fun,
joyful. Actually, you can have joyful changes. I mean,
yes.
Look at what Musk is doing all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, incredibly big ideas, and he fails, and he shows it to everybody.
Yep.
He shows it,
yep.
And then he says, "Well, that one didn't work. That Tesla didn't go to Mars." But he actually does doodle, and most of the people that are top leaders, they doodle, and doodling is good.
Yes,
whether I do it or somebody else, but you got to find where you're stuck. So a conversation and having somebody else actually show it to you is very valuable, because that becomes your start point. And then you make another change, say, oh, I was doing this back here. Now look how far I've come. So you give yourself credit.
Wow. You
can share it. And you can celebrate it. And it has great value to have everybody on the same page in your heart page. That's your emotional essence page.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
It's really cool.
Yes, this is. Oh my gosh. I love the idea of drawing more, because I love being creative. And I think oftentimes I would limit myself to, it's not worth it. The drawing, is it really, going to make that much of a difference? Is it really the best use of my time? All these questions. So I think just the creative expression and not being attached to what it looks like or how much time I spend. I could spend 30 seconds if I want, just doing a quick kind of, like you said, stick figure sketch. And obviously there's deeper levels that we can go into to get the most out of it. So Paula, our audience, I'm sure, wants to know, how do they really master this ability to sketch quest? How do they stay connected with you? And what do we want them to do next?
Give me a call. I talk to people and find out, where they're stuck. Mm-hmm. And how I can help with sketches, and how the whole process works with an hour-long conversation. I give a free consultation for 20 minutes just to find out where people are at, if they're aligned with this and whether they're open enough to do it. And most people are. They're really curious. And so they can get a hold of me, give me a call, pop me an email. I love to give energetic yes/no answers and consultations, so I do that. It's a bit of my invisible magic. So they just need to know that I combine strategic, ordinary, with extraordinary alternative practices to help them discover and feel comfortable with their communications, their purpose, and their big ideas. So it's fun. And so just give me a call and we'll figure out that one question that you can do a sketch quest with me and get some great aha moments and find value in that. There's huge value in seeing it. Once it's seen, you can't unsee it.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
And hearing in one ear, out the other.
Yeah.
If you see it, if you see, I got one little thing I did for a blog. If you see this word,
Yep. See?
you're turning the extraordinary. I mean, you can even do it with words.
Wow. Yeah.
It's so much fun.
I love it. Paula, you and your magic and your art that you're bringing to the world is incredible. Thank you so much for sharing your light, helping everyone become Chi-Lightful, and just really...
It's been delightful.
Yes. And, really everything that you're doing, I love it. I resonate with it. So creative, so fun, so passionate, and bringing that childlike joy and wonder back to the world. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on here and sharing with our audience. And everyone, definitely connect with Paula, have a call with her, and see how she can help you get unstuck and to the next level.
I think in the show notes too, there's go to my website. There's a free PDF you can download, and it's your 5-step purpose quest map. Ooh. And you can go and find that link, and then you can start your purpose quest, and then give me a call and see if you need to go deeper.
Yes, I love it. So we'll do that. Paula, thank you so much for being on here today. Have the best day ever and keep shining.
Oh, you too. And I love the energy of your show. It's been so enjoyable, and I feel very blessed, and I'm going to go celebrate.
Awesome. Go celebrate. We're celebrating. Awesome, Paula. We'll see you soon, okay?
Best and blessings. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.